All right, guys. So we got to talk about yet again another silly Will Smith slapping Chris Rock take. That I just gotta discuss because they seem to get crazier and crazier and crazier, right? And this take is a late take because it comes from Miss Tiffany Cross, aka Miss Joy Reid Light, okay? Or Joyless Reed, okay? Because that is what she is. She's the discount version of Joy Reid on MSNBC. She's so bad that they only have her show on Saturday. So she had to wait a whole week to actually speak on this topic and to give her take on this topic. And lo and behold, her silly take is that white people don't fully understand the Will Smith slap, right? That's her take, that white people don't understand it, okay? Something that, in my opinion, is not racial, but for whatever reason, people have found a way to racialize a slap, an event that happened at the Oscars between two black men over jokes made about a black woman. I can understand the whole, gender argument, right? I can understand that. I can't understand the race thing. So let's actually listen to this because the things they're gonna say is just so ridiculous. It deserves ridicule. Okay. So before we get into that though, I just want to let you guys know if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the links in the description below. You can support the Patreon, you can support the PayPal, you can support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this ridiculous conversation featuring Joy Reid Light.
Well, everybody has an opinion. I'm sure you all are tired of talking about it, but we have to weigh in on it. So let's talk about it. Family talk. Joining me now is family. Yvette Nicole Brown. She's a host, writer, and actress. You can see her in Big Shots on Disney+. She's also just an amazing human being. And an equally amazing human being, Michael Harriot. He's the columnist at The Griot and somebody whose Twitter feed we all get life from. So thank you both for being here. I want to start out first because most of the viewers who watch this show are white. And I did get a lot of questions from people.
What? Most of the viewers that watch this show are white? Bruh, that's a surprise, but at the same time, it's kind of not a surprise. Even black people won't watch this racist show, right? Ain't it funny how she comes up here and she act like she's so pro-black this, pro-black that, and she demonizes white people literally every single week. But yet the main viewers on her show are white. Okay, which can explain why she has so little viewers in the first place. Okay, because the only people that are watching her show are white people that have a whole lot of white guilt. Okay, and they want to watch her show to feel good about themselves and their white guilt, right? So again, I find it fascinating again how this person who is this big pro-black race crusader, whose whole career has been basically promoted and built off the back of white people, right? But all she does is hate on white people every single segment. Ain't that funny how it works?
Genuinely curious, genuinely asking, why is it that so many people were saying, white folks, sit this one out? So I'm going to ask you, Michael, I'll start with you, to unpack that as best you can. I have my thoughts. I'm sure we all do, but I'll kick it to you first, Michael.
So, we can talk about culture and, history, but the truth is, there are... in the study of Africana studies, there is a concept called the social structure, which is society, politics, economics, that govern everybody. And then there is a governing structure, and that is about how we relate to each other, how black people relate to each other. So what we saw in this incident, even though, it happened in front of everybody, it was about how black people relate to each other. So It's hard to explain to a white person what the difference is between an open-handed slap and a punch is, because they consider it all violent.
I mean, it is all violent. I really don't understand what this dude is trying to say here. Like, is he trying to say that, black people are inherently violent? And because of that, white people can't understand, what happened here. I don't know what the difference between a slap and a punch would be. Okay, I don't know as a black person. I don't know why Will Smith decided to slap him instead of a punch, right? Who knows? Maybe he didn't want to hurt him that bad with a punch. I have no clue. Okay, but I really don't understand exactly what this guy is trying to get at here, because is he trying to say that, this is something only black people can understand because black people are exposed to more violence? And if that's the argument that he's making, that's fine. But I would argue that there are also white people who grow up in situations in which they're exposed to this type of violence as well. And I think that means that they will be able to relate to this as well too. I think that a lot of people can relate and speak on this because a lot of people have been exposed to at least some level of violence in their life. I mean, everybody have seen somebody get smacked before, right? I've seen people get smacked before. I've seen plenty of school fights, right, between black and white people, right? I've seen violence come from all races across the spectrum. So I really don't understand what this person is trying to say here. But again, if he's trying to say that, well, white people can't understand this because black people are inherently, violent or whatever, then wouldn't that be deemed as racist? Okay. But hey, at the same time, this is the excuse that they use for the liberal media not to talk about black on black violence. They say, hey, you white people, you can't understand what's going on in the black community, so don't talk about it, right? So hey, I kind of understand where he's coming from that perspective, but I do think that what he's saying here is just I really don't get it.
It's hard to explain that. Like, everyone really has a certain threshold for which they will react in a certain way, right? Yeah. Whether it is if you say something to their mother, their sister, you say some words to my wife or my kids, I'm going to react in a certain way.
Just like everybody else. That's not specific to black people. That's something everybody does, right? Everybody loses their cool if you say certain things to certain people that they love, okay? Now, in general, you shouldn't let words make you act violently because they're simply just words. But everybody has a threshold. That's not something just specific to black people. I don't understand what this man is trying to say.
And we don't know what that threshold is for everyone. So when you choose to insult someone in the governing structure, you run the risk of, if you step out of bounds, you don't know how far out of bounds they will step. And that is the risk you take. And Chris Rock understood this.
Well, Yvette, I want to get you in on this conversation, too, because I tried to explain this to people why it was a family discussion, and I want to give you a chance.
A family discussion, right? It's a family discussion. Everybody that's black is my family. Even if I don't know them, even if they hurt me, they're my family, right? It's funny how, again, she has an audience of viewers who are white. Okay, and she routinely kind of demonizes those people, and they continue to watch her. But the people that she calls her family do not watch her show at all. Again, I find it fascinating how this works. Okay,
weigh in with your thoughts.
Well, listen, we all know as black people that we wear the mask, right? So there's certain things that we will discuss with each other that we don't discuss publicly. And what happened at the awards was kind of some of our private stuff coming out in public. And so on Twitter, a lot of us were like, y'all sit this out for your protection, because when we need to have a conversation, we're going to have it. If you put your nose into something that black people need to discuss amongst ourselves, then it happens, right?
What? Hey, you white folks, don't talk about this. Sit this out for your protection, okay? Your protection. You can't talk about an event that happened at the Oscars in front of the world, right? Because it involved all black people. So therefore, sit this out for your own protection. Again, what I want to happen in response to this, even I actually don't want this to happen, but I would find it interesting if when violence happens among black people, right? White people say, hey, you know what? We can do something about this, but we're gonna sit this out, right? A black woman getting her ass whooped by a black man, right, in the streets, and you have white people there that can potentially help. Oh, nope. We're not going to call the police. We're not going to speak on it. We ain't going to say nothing. If the police ask me what happened, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to be a witness. None of that, because it is none of my business. I got to sit this out for my own protection, right? That's what we were told when we saw an assault on the world stage at the Oscars. Sit this out, white folks. You can't say anything about this, okay? Do you understand? Do these people understand how far this logic can go, right? Where it's like, as human beings, especially as Americans, really, we should all be looking out for each other. We should all be looking out for each other regardless of our race. We should just want to do the right thing. And I think that it is totally fair for anybody to speak on this incident, regardless of their race, because there's a ton of people that can relate to stuff like this, right? And again, just pretending like only black people can speak on this because only black people are involved, I think it's so silly. And you can apply this on so many different levels where you're going to get unintended consequences that ultimately are going to end up hurting black people, to be quite honest with you.
I am from East Cleveland. I would like to say that I've seen harder slaps at family spades tournaments than what happened on that stage. That's why a lot of black people were not greatly affected by it. I am not saying violence is the answer. We all know that it is not. Even Will knows that it's not. Everyone has apologized, and we're trying to move forward as a family. But the things that the level, like Michael just said, there's a level of disrespect that every person can handle. Some people use their words, some people use their hands. It is what it is. In the black community, we understand that. And I'm not saying we're a monolith. I know there's some black people that were horrified as well. I just feel like with everything going on in the world, like there's a war right now. Yeah. The bodies that I've seen strewn in the Ukraine in no way equal the slap of Will to Chris. Even Chris would say that. So I believe. Well, so I just think everybody need to calm down.
Yeah. I still have yet to understand. These two people have spoke on this. I still have yet to understand why can't white people understand the Will Smith slap. I still don't understand it. They have not articulated why is it that white people can't relate to this or speak on this outside of them just saying, well, it's just something only black people should speak on it. That's it. I don't really have a real explanation for it, but just only black people speak on it. All the things that they said are not specific to black people at all, right? They're like only black people have events in which family members, or people, among each other that are hanging out with each other at an event, use violence towards each other. I know that happens across all races. Again, I really don't understand. I really don't.
I mean, look, and I think people are like, hey, enough talking about it. Let's move on. But, it is in the news. And Will came up with that statement yesterday, and it was worth talking about. I'll try to put this in context for, our white fellow countrymen as best I can. And really, truly,
ain't it just sad how she just she's just so bro, why do you have to just divide everybody by race constantly? Every time you speak, it's white this, black that, I don't get it, man. It just, ugh.
Black America, there is a commonality amongst us all. And if we went to a white person's home and it was their family dinner and we were sitting there at the table and the mother hauled off and slapped the father, and everybody at that table has an opinion. The sister's like, Mom, you always do this. And the brother's like, I can't believe you guys are doing this. And Dad is like, you're terrible. If I weigh in as the guest in this home and I say, yeah, you guys are terrible, everybody's like, I'm sorry, when did you get an opinion?
Yeah, I don't think a dinner table assault is the same as an assault at the Oscars, right? I don't think that's the same thing, okay? The Oscars happen on national TV for the world to see. A dinner in which there's an assault that occurs, that is within a household, okay? Now, it might not be appropriate to speak on the conversation at the time, but that applies if you're a guest, not even because of your skin color. And it specifically will apply just because you're a guest. If you're a black guest at a black dinner and the wife, assaults the husband or whatever, yeah, I wouldn't speak on it. I wouldn't say anything simply because I'm a guest. My skin color wouldn't give me a pass to say anything about that. I just feel like it would be awkward to do so. I just feel like that's not even like a racial thing. I mean, that was really a terrible kind of comparison in general.
This is our family table. That's what this moment felt like for many of us. And there's a nuance to what happened that we should get into. Michael, I personally believe this was a moment that we saw Will Smith behave like a bully. I know a lot of people have strong opinions about this. I thought the slap itself was completely uncalled for. And I want to be really clear while we're talking about family talk. I think it is utterly ridiculous to center this conversation in the opinions of white folks. This is just about what happened there. The jumping off point should not be, but what might the white people think about it? It's just this.
Nobody's saying that, right? The only people that are saying that are you, right? Nobody has racialized who has an opinion on this and who doesn't. The only people have done that is literally been the woke revolutionaries and the mainstream liberal media. They're the only people that do this, okay? Nobody else does this. People just like, okay, you got an opinion on it. That's it. Nobody cares about your skin color. What does people's skin color have to do with having an opinion on a situation? I really don't understand.
This moment between those two men, I thought it was uncalled for. So I'm curious.
All right. Yeah. So that was just a tiny bit of sanity there in which she called Will Smith the bully in that take. But you guys tell me, did you guys figure out from that whole conversation why white people can't fully understand what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock. I in my opinion, I don't understand the race angle here. I really don't understand how is it that, you know, somebody wouldn't be able to understand that based off their race. I don't think that slap had anything to do with race, right? At all. I think it was more about Will Smith and his relationship with his wife and, you know, Chris Rock, and maybe he had some type of, you know, beef going on between them. I don't think it had anything really to do with race at all, to be quite honest with you. But hey, maybe my perspective on this is not black and white enough, all right, to fully understand. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.